It's a fucking freezing, man. It's freezing. What the fuck am I doing? This is maybe my favourite delt exercise that you can connect to. Everything with the lateral delt is to do with connection. Dumbbells, those are overrated. There is full tension throughout this whole movement, as you're about to see, on that whole medial delt, from the shortest portion of the delt to the longest position of the delt. So, highly recommend this. Give it a go. Give it a fucking go.
Make notes, get notes.
Come on, work, push, stay strong. Push, come on. Push, push. Come on, strong. Push.
100 questions about the band there. So what the band does, you'll see as I'm coming down, the tension grows, because we know in that lower third portion of this movement here, there is a lot less delts involved, more upper chest. I'm not trying to train my upper chest here, I'm trying to train my delts. So that band is going to help me get out of the chest portion and just direct the load straight to my delts. So you'll see the band comes tight, comes loose here. That's when the delts are engaged, right here. So that's when it gets loose and the tension comes on. Easy.
Pull it. Yeah. Come on. Oh. Yeah, man.
We're going to talk about frequency over everything. I noticed the biggest change in my shoulders when I changed my frequency. So I used to do push-pull legs. Obviously doing push-pull legs, you have split amount of volume between chest and shoulders twice a week, instead of actually having a direct shoulder workout, which I do now. I currently train my delts 3 times a week. So I do a push, pull, legs, shoulders, arms, upper, lower split. So I train on push day, I train on upper day, and I also train on a shoulders and arms day. So I managed to hit my delts 3 times a week. If you're currently doing them twice a week, try them 3 times a week. If you're already doing them 3 times a week, I suggest changing your volume, playing with your volume a little bit. You're essentially becoming the master of your volume. There's no way that you can put, for me anyway, and if you can do more than 3 sets on a compound movement on your shoulders, and your work capacity remains very good, you're a freak in nature. There's no way that you can be doing that. So if you're that guy who's doing 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps and the weight staying the same on every single set, you're not training hard enough. So train harder. Take those reps down. Take those sets down, and be smarter with your volume. Make your working volume count. Make that shit count. I do no more than 2 sets, 2 top sets, 1 really top set one back offset. Both of those will be to complete failure. There's no point doing that same volume that you were doing if your intensity goes up. As intensity comes up, volume will come down. The same thing with frequency. If you train more frequently, your volume comes down. There's no way that if you're doing 8 sets in your shoulder sessions twice a week, and you think, okay, fine, I'm going to add an extra day so I can get that frequency up, and keep sending that muscle building signal, which is essentially what we do when we train. When we train, we send a signal to our brains that goes through a whole lot of patterns that I don't want to confuse you with, and essentially tells us to adapt. Essentially tells us to build muscle. So if you're sending that frequency hard enough, so intensity, and frequently enough, you're going to grow muscle. So if you're currently doing 8 sets twice a week, and you want to go do three exercise, and then you want to go train 3 times a week, you can't just add 8 more sets in. You can't go from 8 sets a week, 8 sets once, 8 sets twice, to 8 sets 3 times if you're just doing it twice. That's a whole 8 sets. You're not going to recover from this session for this session. So as a whole, all of these 3 sessions need to come down in sets. So if you're currently doing 8 sets on 2 different sessions, that's 16 sets per week. So what you want to try to do maybe is try to do like 6 sets, 6 sets, 6 sets. So that'll bring down your volume per session, but actually it will take you up to 18 sets per week and it will increase your total volume. So playing smart with frequency, playing smart with volume, and being intense. Cool. I just want to touch a little bit on that volume frequency thing. So if you take like 3 days worth of volume and you do that in 1 day, essentially you'll get the same hypertrophic response if the volume equates. But in terms of like recovery management, general progression, and to be honest, just recovery management, it's not effective. It's not effective to do however many sets into 1 session, because you're going to dwindle towards the end. You're not going to be able to put the maximum into those sets. So if you take that same amount of sets that you do in 1 day and split it over 3 days, you can put way more into those sets, which may give you more numbers than would have given previously, which may in turn increase your volume. I find that frequency is a way to increase your volume. So if you're doing like if I use the example used before, if you're doing 2 days at 8 sets per set, at 8 sets per exercise, that's 16. If you can change it so you've got 18, that's a slight increase, but also less fatigue happening. So it's all about recovery management in terms of frequency, not actually like you do this many sets, you do this many sets. If you split them, there's not going to be much change as long as they're effective. So yeah. Sweet. I don't know if any of you guys remember what my garden looked like before. This is it now. I want to finish this video off with my final and most important tip: consistency. This shit does not happen overnight. It takes so long to forge muscle naturally. I've been lifting, like I first went to the gym when I was 16. I'm 25 now, so I've been lifting for 9 years. Of those years, of course, like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 of those were absolutely useless, but I definitely built some muscle, and it's taken a long old time to understand concepts of exercise selection, concepts of intensity, concepts of volume and training and programming, alongside nutrition, alongside recovery, because these aspects have to be looked at as well. It's not just going to be, okay, I'm going to change my frequency, my delts are going to grow. No, that is in consideration that recovery is in place, nutrition is in place, you sleep well, you eat well, all that kind of stuff. So I don't want one thing to be overlooked by another. They try and give it 80% diet, 20% training, or 50-50, or whatever it is. It's not. It's 100% everything. If one's off, the other one's not going to work as well, and that's the reality of it. If you're trying to be optimal, like I am, monitor these things, track these things, and you'll know which ones work for you best. I've been tracking my body and listening to my body probably for about 18 months now, and by listening to my body, I mean how I feel in the mornings, how different food affects my weigh-ins, how different food affects my digestion, how training at different times affects my performance. I've been listening to these things actively rather than just taking note when I feel bad. I note when I feel good, when I feel okay, when I feel this, when I feel that. I've got a big notes page in my phone where I write all this down and I can think about it. So I think that's an important thing, is taking control and listening to your body and being consistent with it. It's going to make the biggest difference you can imagine. That's it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. By the way, I keep getting lots and lots of fucking comments on this, my decision to take steroids. People are like, do you even lift? Motherfucker. Yes. See you later, everybody.